refresh the board. So what I'm going to do is I'll take snippets and then we'll restart it. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's interesting, huh?
Can you make a copy and paste of them or no?
No. So we'll just. It's okay.
Can you make a
No, I'll just snippet it and reset the board. It's fine.
copy and
That's
paste?
I was gonna do that anyway. No.
Okay.
Not the best, but we're here to get it up. We're just here to get it up. Okay, let me get this live.
What's the new team?
So we'll just. It's okay.
Can you make a
Fit it and reset the board. It's fine.
copy and
Video. Welcome to the stream of whoever's hopping in. We're just going to get going here in a second. We're going to start with something a little bit different today, a little discussion that will become a VOD on YouTube after. Okay. That's cool. It has it. That's dope.
Did you see this PC? An all-new performance test feature is now live.
No.
Access it through display settings to run a stress test on your GPU, CPU, and other hardware quickly to identify performance bottlenecks.
Oh. Okay.
Just updating the stream and then we'll get right into the discussion. So if you guys are with us at the moment, we're going to each make a team or two teams for 6 total. And this is just to see how close we can get to being right. This is more of a fun exercise. You know, you see a lot of tier lists out there. You see a lot of information about team ups or side-by-side gameplay before and after patch of how characters have changed, but very little discussion of what a full team looks like. Of course, the pro teams are already well into their testing and theory crafting, and they got a little bit of a head start with the streamer early access. But us common folk, we're here. We can talk about it. We can talk about it. So that's what we're going to do. Because it's fun. And we'll see if we can always look back and see. And then, of course, if you have any takes on what you think would be a good lineup for the next season or lineups, put it in the comments, put it in the chat. Just updating our VOD or our streamer information because Restream likes to retitle everything for its own branding.
Hey, how come you think they teased Blade and then never brought him in?
Yeah, there's like a rumor that he's never gonna get dropped. He's just gonna keep showing up.
I think they know they need more tanks and healers first. He's definitely a DPS. Like,
You really can't make him anything else, right?
And he's very similar to Deadpool too, and they want to drop Deadpool, so that's gonna be. Those are both ones that they've basically confirmed they're gonna drop eventually, and those are gonna have to be like, yeah, well sorted out.
Okay, I was trying to get my.
I hope they give Deadpool some sort of regen ability.
That'd be cool. That'd be really cool. Okay.
If he dies, you kind of almost have like an Adam level of being able to come back.
Yeah. Okay, this is...
Like you can crawl. Like it's just not really graphic and bloody in it, huh? If they cut him in half and then he was able to crawl to like a spot and then regrow himself real quick.
That'd be cool.
I don't think they do that.
All right, I think I got this centered enough. If it doesn't look good on the stream, please feel free to let me know. I'm going to turn this into a video later. I think we're good. Yeah, that looks decent. Okay, we'll keep it right there. Okay, so what we're doing is we used our handy-dandy tiered template from... What is this website called? I want to make sure I get a tier maker. So for anybody looking to make their own tier list, you can do that. But we jerry-rigged this thing to be a lineup configurator, more for the sake of timing and my graphic ineptitude. Okay? Full disclaimer. So I'll put that in the description, tier maker, so that I don't, they get their credit where credit's due. Welcome, whoever just hopped in. We're going to start today's stream with a little fun exercise. Can we come up with 6? You just learn how to play Magic, Kel? Nice.
Hey,
How do you like it?
students. We're going to do a nice little exercise.
Nice little exercise today. But feel free in the chat to let us know how wrong we are, how right we are, how much better your idea is. All right, let's get into it. So we're going to be doing a little exercise where we make 6 teams total, 2 for Preemie, 2 for Mintman, 2 for myself, with the new balance changes, the new metagame launching on Friday. We're going to go back and see how wrong or right we were. And if this becomes a thing, we'll do it before every season, maybe. Because why not? Because why not? Stuff's still not lined up correctly. Sorry, my apologies. I got to make sure I get this right when I edit. If you're here watching the stream live, you have to deal with my painful setup here. All right, I'm not going to touch this again once I got it to where I want it. All right, you gents ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm ready.
All right, folks. We're gonna start the stream with something a little bit different today. You see a lot of tier lists out there. You see a lot of, team up information, balance changes, showing side by side comparisons of how heroes used to be in the prior season and then the new season to see how nerfed or buffed they've been. But what we're going to do is we're going to make 6 teams total today, 2 for Preemie, 2 for Mintman, 2 for myself, as a mental exercise, just for fun to see, what an ideal team of 6 would look like. And obviously there's a ton of permutations on how this can be done. And obviously the best way to know for sure is by playing, but we're not there yet. And we didn't get streamer early access and we're not pros. So we're here to do what a lot of us are wondering. And that's to make teams that we think would be good starting Friday. So Preemie, our in-house, most experienced, most skilled guru, is going to go first.
I'm first.
You're first. And so Preemie's going to go, Mintman will go, then I will go. The way we're going to do this is Preemie will give his team of 6. He'll discuss his rationale. Not necessarily a defense because we're just here, we're curious. We'll ask questions if we have any, and then if we have any ideas to build off of his. And we're not here to obviously completely revamp each other's teams, but who knows what these will look like by the end. All right, Preemie, take your time. I know you guys are just getting out of some games. I'm going to get in some games soon. For those of you in the stream, we're going to get into gaming. This is going to be a separate video on YouTube. So if you're here live, you can troll us live in the flesh. You can let us know how wrong or right we are. If you're watching the YouTube video, feel free to leave a comment and let us know how wrong or right we were, or give your own take, because at the end of the day, this is fun. At the end of the day, we could be super close to right, super close to wrong, or super wrong rather, but let's get into it. Let's have some fun with it.
All right, this is my first build right here.
Yes.
This one's going to be called Protect the President. It's very great. You're gonna build a White House. So by building a White House, first you need a president and a first lady. The first lady, obviously, of this next season is Miss Luna. She's going to be insta-banned almost in every game, I think. But when she's not, you're going to pick her. She's done so much damage. She's doing so much healing. She's going to be the queen healer of the next season.
Okay.
Mr. President is her team up, Mr. Hawkeye. If you haven't seen it, the E is completely broken. It's the freeze on it goes through shields. It's going to be a mess. So Luna and Hawkeye, they're the president, and they're the first lady of Marvel Rivals. Well, now we got to protect them, right? So we're going to bring out the next dynamic duo, the Protectors. She's always been a queen protector. She's been able to hold chokes with one nest, and now she's going to get 2. We're going to put Penny Parker in there.
Nice.
We're putting Penny in, and we know that Penny's in the game. Well, she needs her FBI agent, the leader, who can now also drop a Penny nest when Penny's on the floor, Rocket Raccoon, who's also going to give damage boost alt, also going to have a heal alt. It's going to be insane. They're going to hold chokes like nobody's business. They're going to be fantastic defense coordinators here. And just between those four, you're going to have a really solid team. But how do we make that even better? Well, we wanted a tank that can CC and shield. Well, there's only one in the game that does that. That's Miss Emma Frost. We're putting Miss Emma on there. Emma's going to be the highlight there. She's going to be the front line. She's going to make sure that people don't just walk on your team. And when people walk on your team, she's going to choke slam them into about 27 mines. So she's a great pick. There's going to be a lot of CC in this. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots. Now, the next pick can be a flex pick, but how I've picked it is I have Winter Soldier in. Winter Soldier's going to kidnap. Winter Soldier's going to pull. Winter Soldier's going to pull people, tanks, right into penny mines. They're going to be shocked. They're going to come around a corner. You're going to get a free pick. Easy each round. You got a Groot on the other side? Oh, too bad. He's dead. He's already dead. 900 health is going to be gone in a second with the amount of mines that that is going to be on the floor. Now, if he's not working, you can flex that pick. Winter Soldier is the only flexible pick here, I think, in this. Along Emma as well. You can flex them. You can do other shield tanks. You can pull Magneto and you can pull a Doctor Strange in if those aren't working. The Prime Four is our FBI agents and our President and First Lady. But for me, the main picks right now, how I would play it, is those six. I would keep Winter Soldier in there for the pulls. If he's not working, you can double headshot it with a Hela. And that would be my first build, though, is I call it Protect the President. And that's the first build. And I think it's going to be very overpowered. And as long as Luna's not banned and Hawkeye, I think you're going to see a lot of action from them this season.
I like it. Very, meta strong. A lot of defensible ban picks here. The question is like, are there more characters this coming season than we can actually functionally ban to have the experience we want? And I don't know. There's a lot of talks of new characters being banned. Whoever bans Groot in our first comp games, we have to troll them because I don't think Groot's ban worthy, but maybe we can get to that later. I like this a lot, actually. This team is like, how do you counter all this? And is Penny actually meta now?
We're gonna find out.
One of my questions. Mintman, our resident in-house Penny expert, I'm sure can chime in on that if he'd like. But yeah, this comp looks strong.
I don't know if I would call myself Penny expert, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Well, because I play Penny and Rocket, so both of those will be a lot of fun for me. And did you see that? I saw someone in testing that you can string together 60 meters of nests. So you can hold a whole corner if you can defend those nests. I don't know if they're going to make them squishier, so that way they can take it down easier, but it should be a lot of fun. And I thought that the Rocket one was going to be a little less impactful, like it wouldn't have as many mines, but it looks like there's going to be plenty of mines. It almost looks like a regular penny nest, so it should be a lot of fun. Yeah, and that's just a team up, right? That's not a cooldown or anything like that outside of the normal. She's just going to have 2 nests now?
Yeah, 2 nests. Like you said, it from what I understand, it elongates the web network. More utility, more reach, more ability to cover a choke, even if that choke's bigger than usual. So I think this team looks solid.
The problem with that for Rocket is that it's going to show where his respawn is. Because right now, there is nothing that promotes where his respawn is. So you can usually tuck him away and hide him pretty good. But with that nest, people are going to be able to see it. And so that might make his respawn a little bit more vulnerable to getting taken out. And right now, I think it's like a 60 to 45 second. I think it's 45 second cooldown if it gets taken out by an enemy.
That's crazy.
So that's kind of... Yeah, so I don't know. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I'd probably pick Penny and Rocket both in there.
Okay, we're going to get right into your build. Anything else that we want to talk about with... no, for sure. Anything else we want to talk about with... Why isn't this not saving? Give me just a moment. Okay, we'll just figure that part out later. Sorry, YouTubers, for the title not updating. We'll get that fixed for the VOD. Okay, so back to action here. So we just finished up talking about Penny in Preemie's first build, and then Mintman was talking about how he'd like to include the new Penny team up with Rocket in his. So anything else? We can circle back to Preemie's team here in a second, but... And this will be...
What do you see getting banned? I don't
in his
really
lineup?
Foresee... Yeah, Rocket got banned briefly.
Luna, I think.
Even then.
Luna's gonna get banned every
She
game.
2 shots
That's why I don't think you're gonna be able to play
squishies
this.
now.
You think Luna is now the new Hulk?
Luna's gonna get and because Hawkeye's so good, it's not Hawkeye's still gonna be playable without Luna, but I think it's one of those things that people are gonna feel like the overpowered Hawkeye's gone without Luna there too. So there'll be two
It's
birds,
gonna
one
be
stone.
the same Hulk effect right now.
Yeah, two birds, one stone. Especially because Luna's already just doing way too much damage. Like you can, DPS could probably attest to this. That, you know, once they get there, they've been in some fights where they're at like 70% health and they get hit by a Luna and they got two-shotted and they're like, wait, what just happened, dude? And they didn't even have to stand a chance because their DPS output, especially with her shift click, is just too massive. She'll do more damage than you. There's no way to beat her. So I think her damage is only been increased now. Yes, they've increased her alt pool. It costs more to get her alt, but hey, guess what? More healing and more damage means that you get it faster anyways. So was it a nerf? I don't think so. I think it's just a buff all around, and we're not going to see much of her next season. That's my thought.
Yeah, for sure. I think the Hawkeye thing will have people extra disgusted and then more of a reason, but the fact that she's going to two-shot people in the head. And I didn't get to play Season 0 or 1 really as much, so I don't know how good she was then, but I heard she was a ban. And then just something we didn't talk about for this comp as much other than Premi's take on his rationale that Emma and Bucky. Emma, we know, is already super good. She did get some nerfs, but she also got her range extended on her primary, so she'll have more utility against flyers. And then Bucky is Bucky, right? I don't think he really got messed with too much. Let me double check my facts.
They really nerfed him with his team up there. The new team up doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
What, Bucky? Nah, Bucky's
Yeah.
still fantastic, and Bucky's really in this. He's in this this build to pull people into the mines, to pull people. He's gonna catch people by surprise. He's gonna be an offset. He's again, Emma and Bucky are exchangeable in this build, but I think just in terms of what's gonna be done the strongest in that minefield.
That
Is
that Penny and Rocket mine setup should help with dive too.
Yeah, and it's gonna let Luna and Hawkeye just literally sit in it. They're just gonna be able to sit back. That's why it's called Protect the President. They're just gonna be able to sit in these mines. There's no dives that can be able to touch them. Yeah, it's gonna be a really good build.
I like this.
And I think it's gonna be a solid first attempt.
Yeah, it attacks from a bunch of different angles. Sweet. Okay, so and then as Mintman previewed, he'd like to start his build. So we'll just go ahead and I'm going to clear this selection again. If you're looking for these builds to try with your own friends, your own teammates in Marvel Rivals, I will put we'll put the description of these teams in the comments or on the description of the VOD rather. But we'll just go ahead and use our widget here, our little tool to clear the selection. If it's going to let me, that is. Why isn't it letting me? Uh-oh. Here, let me go ahead and refresh this window. Why is this bugging out on me? Give me just a moment. All right, we're going to pull it back up real quick. Looks like we are going to edit this after all. I was hoping just to run it as a thing right off the stream, but now I'm going to have to definitely edit this. So if you're on the stream, just bear with me for a second. This will be an edited video for the tube. No. This is interesting. Sorry guys, it's like my Brave crashed.
No. I like Brave, by the way.
Oh, cool, we're back. No, I love Brave, but I don't know why it shat on me just now. It locked up. Okay, I think we're back. Sorry for that, stream. We're back in action. Man. All right, so I'm going to clear these selections because these are not what we just came up with. Clear row images. All right.
They do anything to Hella? She's basically the same.
I think she got a little buff actually. Let me see. Yeah, she has 10 ammo now instead of fucking 8. She got buffed.
Okay, we're back.
So if she hits headshots, she can now kill. What is that? Basically the whole back line before even reloading. Yeah, easily. She can kill 5 people with a double headshot.
I'm interested to see how Jeff ends up turning out.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to start off Mintman's team. It is Rocket Raccoon and Penny to get started. I like the team. You going with that powerful new team up right off the bat.
Oh, Fire.
Also, both characters that you're proficient with, so that's always nice when you
You
get.
can always just
Well,
kill
that's-
Adam and then add him later, maybe.
Well, we can't have 2 Mintmans, so someone's going to have to play whichever one you don't play that game. Maybe it's time for me to learn
Well, I
Raccoon.
feel like there's been a lot of people that'll. Raccoon's been a pretty quick fill for a lot of people. All right. So I don't know. I feel like Luna will probably get banned a bunch. I don't know. I guess at this point, it just depends. Are we talking people who are proficient or just the randos that we get assigned with?
This
No,
could be
you-
anything. This could be what
this
you
is
think
like-
is meta, what you think is fun, what you want to try in terms of multiple team ups or just one team up, or maybe a team that you wanted to play before composition wise but was never viable. It could be anything you want.
I think most
I think
powerful
that-
teams we're looking
I think
yeah,
Ultron
Sure,
and
you can go meta.
Adam could be a good team up.
Okay, so we'll go Ultron, Adam. So we're going the 3 healer comp, as a lot of people have mentioned that might make Ultron good. There's been a mixed and just a little aside. I know there's a lot of Ultron content out there. Ultron's been a mixed bag of reaction, but he does have some things going for him either way. So Ultron and who?
Adam
Adam.
Warlock.
Oh yeah, dude, DPS healers for days. All right, I like where this
I
is
think
headed.
Doctor Strange would probably be another good.
Ooh.
Get a little shield tank in there.
Yeah. All right, we got Penny, Raccoon, Ultron, Warlock, Doctor Strange.
And then I suppose we'd probably round that out with Hela for DPS, just to be able to take out any flyers.
All
She
right.
can kind of hang out in that the little nest range, and then you've got a lot of maybe there's no I mean you got tons of healing. So Rocket can direct heal, and then anytime you get Dove, you got Adam and Ultron with those little shieldies. I think that could be a fun one.
This looks nice. I like the potential for a lot of ranged assault here and mid range.
Yeah, I feel like the shield tank, you probably could swap Strange out with Magneto too. But Strange, I think, got a little buff. I think his main attack got buffed.
I
Yeah,
think
no,
Ultron's
he did.
2 by himself on this. Ultron's gonna die.
Just
You
because
think
he's
so?
a lone
Yeah.
aerial target.
Yeah, you got a lone aerial right now, and the only heal that he can help himself with is Adam's E, basically, because Rocket's balls are just not good enough to heal aerial targets.
I think the one
Rocket's a
thing.
weak aerial healer.
So I'll
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose Adam. Well, I don't know because I feel like Adam's E is good, and then if you really are getting hit, you can always do his little whatchamacallit, his big healing, where it absorbs and distributes damage.
what I think is
I don't
interesting
know.
about
I don't know how long.
I think that's the weak point, though. I think Ultron gets picked.
From my
And then-
understanding, the way I saw people were talking about playing Ultron is not necessarily flying him out in the about, but he was kind of just hanging out in the back.
Maybe
So if
that
him and
works.
Adam are hanging out together, he throws a little Healy bot on Adam. Adam's pretty squishy too.
Well, he
in
can heal
general, I
himself
see
with
him
his
goes
heal
down
bot,
pretty
too.
quick.
He can just stand in it.
But I don't think he can put it on himself, can he?
He can't put it on himself.
I
But he
think-
can cast it on Adam and then stand in it with him.
Right.
Hela. If you have a Hela in your team, though, my counter, or I guess my defense for having Ultron in here is that if your Hela's doing good challenging their range DPS, and I guess Warlock to a lesser degree, then Ultron could have some space. But it really depends on how good
I
the
think
Hela's
Ultron's
doing
going to need an Iron Man.
to make
think-
his extra ability worth it. Yeah, I could see that.
His Iron Man team up actually looks really cool too.
I think he just
I
needs it.
suppose
I
you
think
could
it's going to
swap-
be a necessity.
So
I
you
think-
think Hela swapped out with
Yeah.
Iron Man?
I have a flyer heavy
Yeah, I think
version
so.
that I can show, but I actually kind of like this. I see where Chuck's coming from with Ultron kind of being the highlight in terms of getting picked. by the opposing team, but I do think that Hela and Warlock should be able to challenge ranged. So I guess it depends how much faith do you have in your DPS. And it is 3 healer comp. So I don't know. I could see it working if everyone's doing their job. But that's, who knows? I like it.
Yeah, it's pretty,
Much different.
It's a lot to ask.
Much different than Premi's build. So as you can see, there's tons of different ways to go about this. And again, we're not claiming that these are the end-all, best-all comps, but we do think that they could work potentially, and we'll circle back and see if it happens. So, all right, so we'll go ahead and clear this one. Again, these team comps will be in the description, in case you want to try these out instead of looking through the video. Okay, all right. I guess we'll try to be something a little different while also offering something that maybe could work. And I'm hesitant about these, but so. As we know, Dive is getting a lot of nerf and a lot of hate this coming patch. People are talking about hit scan coming to prominence again. Lately, Mintman plays Thing. Premi can pretty much play anything, but I've been playing a lot of Hulk and Venom, and I think it's a little too late at the end of the season to really enjoy it because we're almost done. But I think that Dive, my take on Dive next season will be tank heavy. So this could be wild, and I'm not claiming it's good. But here we go. So we have Hulk, Venom as our 2 dive tanks. So I want to put Luna in here, but I'm going to presume that she's going to get banned. So I'm going to put Mantis. Let me see. Ooh, I should have wrote this down. I had this idea earlier, but Iron Fist, sorry. Iron Fist, Mantis, and we'll do 2 other healers that can help with utility because obviously Mantis isn't good enough on her own. I just like Invis a lot. I think Invis is good. She's elusive. She can get in and out. She provides good healing and good damage, so she can kind of flip the switch. And then
He's also got some really good utility. Her push is really underrated.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I agree. And she can get, that's why I'm including her. The fact that she can just turn a corner really quickly and do offensive things. Maybe she's not divey enough, but I feel like she could be decent dive support. I have no claims to back this, of course. And then a 3rd healer. I'm going to go 3 healers as well. I'm going to go, this one's tough. This one is tough. I'm just going to go Warlock just because of his, No. I'm gonna go Loki just because I'm biased. I like playing Loki. I think him copying a Invis ult is good. I think the fact that he has some mobility once he's set up allows him to get in and out with some of his dive. Probably, obviously Warlock could be here with his Mantis revive, but I'm just gonna go with this. This is my take on what dive could look like next season, and my rationale is that Hulk and Venom were pretty much untouched in terms of damage. So they can still do a lot of annoying things on the enemy's backline. They can get in and out quickly to peel for their healers. You could easily replace one of these healers with a DPS, but because Dive is so mobile, I feel like 3 healers might be able to help out more. I have some different combinations of this same team. So feel free to pick this one apart, or I'm open-minded. I'm a
that
sucker
team
for...
does not have enough damage.
Yeah, and that's why I was saying that maybe we sub out whichever of these 3 healers needs to go. Probably Mantis.
Iron Fist was completely gutted.
He's
Iron
gutted.
Fist, I think he's completely gutted. I don't know. He's and as a solo DPS now, you're gonna rely heavily on that. It might still work though. Maybe they're not as bad as they want us to believe. You got a triple dive. You got Hulk, Venom, and Iron Fist all coming on to you. I think
with Mantis damage buffs.
Yeah, for me, I think I'd like to see what happens, but for me, I think I'd drop one of the healers and I bring in the Namor. I think the Namor team up with the Hulk is still going to be huge. I think Mantis buff, sure, maybe. I would drop Mantis personally, and I would put in Namor.
Okay.
I don't think the buff's worth a whole nother DPS, especially one as strong as Namor.
Sure. I mean,
so
it's giving up a lot of damage for sure. I just thought she's kind of mobile. She kind of can stack damage. She can put stacked heals on people that are getting in and out really quickly.
Otherwise, totally might be meta. I think we might honestly be seeing a ton of Hulk Namor still. I think Hulk is still one of the best tanks. He didn't get nerfed like at all. He's gonna be super strong. He's gonna be banned less because people are gonna be thinking, oh, it's just Namor, you know, instead of Namor and Iron Man. They think Gamma's not gonna be that strong. Gamma's still gonna be huge. I think Venom. Did he even get touched? I think Venom is just super strong. I don't think
Venom
he
is
got
touched.
I don't know. He just got to team up with the Shark, which is something
No,
we
he
we
didn't
can
get
discuss
touched.
later. He didn't get touched himself,
Yeah.
no, but he did get a healing team up with Shark, which
He
is
also team
interesting.
up with Spider Boy.
He did, and so Spider-Man, according to Necros, is even more dead than he was, and potentially not a ban target anymore.
I don't think Spider Man was ever a ban target in high elo.
No, but
I
now
think
not because you don't get that extra damage
without
kick.
the one shot combo. Yeah, it's not. It's nothing that great.
Yeah, I was
think-
thinking
I
another
think-
DPS,
I
but
think this build's almost there. I think for me, if it's my build, I like it a lot. I'm getting rid of Mantis. I'm getting rid of Iron Fist, and I'm putting in Namor.
what DPS do you like? So you like the Iron Fist over Mantis, or I'm sorry, do you like the Namor over Mantis, or Namor instead of
I'm
Iron
pulling
Fist?
Namor, and I'm putting Namor in terms of Mantis, and then I'm pulling Iron Fist too. And I'm probably honestly, if it's me, that's my flex. I think my flex is there, and I think you can change that around as necessary. But maybe even a fucking Mr. Fantastic. He might be really annoying in this build. Yeah, I think
Maybe
I
you're
would
right
pull
actually
Iron
because he's
Fist and I'd
tanky
put,
too.
yeah, and then you have Namor. So you have, because that, and what I would call this build is the almost got me. Because you got Venom, almost got me, and he fucking ease. And then you got, sorry, I probably shouldn't swear for YouTube video. So you got Venom, almost got me, ease. You got Namor instead of Mantis. He can shift out of there. Boom, he's in his bubble. And then you got Stretch Armstrong is just a constant. Almost got me. And then
He
on
does
top of
not
all
die.
of that, you have the Hulk with his shields that can be put on all of them. So if any of these guys, Venom, yeah, you know what? That's a really solid build. I would change it out.
I like
If it's
that.
me right now.
And I like Fantastic because he's tanky enough to withstand some of those early hit scan shots he's taking to get
do
in.
it. I'm gonna give you credit for the build, but do it. I think pull out the Mantis, pull
All
out the
right,
Iron
let's
Fist.
do this. So we're going to do an on-the-fly
Put in-
edits because I am the newest player of us three, and I knew that this would be... Okay,
It's a really
my
good
last
build,
questions
actually.
before we change the build. Are these other two healers defensible, or should they be removed and replaced?
I love those two healers as healers. Like I think they're not gonna get banned, and they're S tier. They're super strong.
So we're
I
taking
think the
out these two,
Loki.
and we're going to
I'm
go...
taking out Iron Fist, and I'm putting in Mr. Fantastic. I'm taking out Mantis, and I'm putting in Namor.
What's nice about
And I
Namor
call it-
is Namor's not dive. A lot of people think of him as anti-dive, but when you're putting him in a composition like this, he can do two things. He can pull the flank and run flank and get really aggressive with his squids to get in behind the enemy with the rest of his team. Or if our healers are getting jumped by opposing dive or melee, Namor can hang back. What's nice about this, though, is that Loki can obviously use greens. So this healer comp is some of the most dive evasive, right?
Yeah, and Loki again, just going with the theme of almost got me. I think Loki, you know, his shifts, his ability to be evasive is massive, and then on top of all that, Invisible Girl as well almost got me. She double jumps, she shifts, she's invisible, she's out of there. This build actually I think it is really solid. It's really annoying. It's gonna destroy low elo. I call it the almost got me build. That it's a really good build. This is a really good. This is gonna destroy, especially low elo. I think in high elo, maybe some people will start to just focus targets and burn through some of this. What this does well, but this is gonna be a really annoying build. This is gonna. I think this takes you all the way through Grandmaster if you play it strong. This is
A lot
This
to
is a
focus
really
and
messed up
peel.
build.
Thanks for the edits. I felt like I was 1 or 2 slots off. Mintman, anything you like or dislike about this one? Anything that you'd like to see in a dive-esque build in a post-dive world?
I think that works pretty well. Invis is pretty good to try and counter flyers a little bit. If you get her little beamy ball done correctly, it can pull people out of the sky, and then Namor is good to also counter flyers. So that would be my only thing that would be kind of difficult, would be trying to really pick on flyers.
Right on. One thing
Although I've seen Mr. Fantastic beat up flyers pretty easily. Like, he's got insane range on his reach. And he can rubber band to you and do all sorts of problems. He's
For
been a
sure.
problem
Yeah.
for me as Rocket when I'm running up walls and I can't seem to escape from him.
For sure.
And he never dies.
Well, one thing we didn't touch on, and that's the thing, your thing, the tank thing. Could he be slotted in here? And if so, where? Because he's also divey and didn't get messed with.
Suppose you could probably swap out Venom for him. I
Yeah, I think
wouldn't.
so.
Yeah, you're not going to switch out Hulk because you're kind of relying on him for the Namor buff.
And don't do does Mr. Fantastic?
I suppose you could put him in Fantastic.
You want to do a triple tank?
Oh,
Well,
do
yeah,
this?
I guess.
So this would be even maybe I don't know what. So, Mr. Fantastic
like
does
the
team up with the
idea-
thing. Yeah.
Now, I like the idea of this build being the almost got me build. I think there's frustration. I think the thing is great, but I think
Thing's
you put,
too hard too. He's just really big target.
I think you leave Mr. Fantastic in instead of Thing. I think the team up with Invisible Girl's great there. I mean, yeah, you have the triple team up with the Shield, but I think there's a lot of frustration, especially with new players. If you pull the Thing again and put Mr. Fantastic in, that's what I would.
Do we like the thing over
Just in
Venom
new-
to get the
I think-
three-way
no.
team up?
No, I think because the issue, and this is what you're gonna get. So Thing, I think pull Thing, put Mr. Fantastic back in, and I'll explain why. I think Mr. Fantastic, Venom, and Hulk, and Namor. What happens is, especially in newer players, when you're about to kill somebody, and then they come back from like the brink of death, and they're
It's
back
like
alive.
rage-inducing.
It's rage-inducing, and it is morale killing. This is a morale killing team. That's what this whole design is supposed to be. I think it's a low elo. I think in high elo, you're absolutely right. I think we can pull Venom, and I think we can bring Thing in
For more
because there's gonna be a lot
robustness.
more robustness, more CC. I think in terms he does maybe a little more damage than Venom as well. But Venom does a lot. Venom has the one-shot combo. I don't know. I just leave it. I just run with this. My biggest thing about this is that you're worried about there being no front line. There doesn't need to be a front line. This is a roll me through.
Right. This is. I'm
comp.
going to ask the question until you answer me.
Yeah.
Like, can you
And
stop
this is-
me?
And I don't think that, especially in low elo, I don't think that they're going to be able to. This is a really good build. This is going to frustrate a lot of people. This is going to tilt a lot of people. This is one of those builds that you can kind of taunt your enemy with while you're playing it. And I think it's probably the best one we have so far. Even better than Protect the President.
Well, thanks to your guys' feedback, that is. I just, I was like, man, I've been enjoying dive so much, but I'm late to the party. How can we keep the party going? And I was like, the tanks didn't seem to get messed with too much. So,
Punisher
okay.
got a buff too, right?
Punisher did get a buff, and I hope he shows up at some point because he looks like a very good meat and potatoes DPS. Okay, well, thank you, gentlemen, for that. For the first team, it went through several iterations. If you're wanting to play dive next season, maybe tanks are the way to help bust through the hit scan that's going to be raining down on you. A little bit more beef to get through the damage. Okay, I'm going to clear this one. We are on to Preemie's number 2 team. Give us another prospective lineup that you would like to see.
All right. I'm just all poke this season.
Yeah, why not?
I think
If it
Poke's
ain't
gonna
broke,
be,
poke it.
I think
That sounded awful.
I think the Poke's gonna be a monster, and I'm starting with a team up that everybody thought was shit. Everybody thinks is shit, and then one streamer let out that it lets you shoot multiple times on this character without reloading. And if this holds, my whole build is based off of this, so this has to hold to patch. But first character we're throwing in there is this character, and it's a surprise one. We're gonna be surprised by this, but Black Widow.
We's do it.
We're putting in Black Widow.
Let's induce the rage. Here come, set free the trolls or the
Wait,
fans.
who's her team up now? Is it?
And this is her team up, and this is how she shoots multiple times without having to reload. It's their team up ability. We're putting in the Punisher next.
Okay.
And this is all on their team up ability that I saw. That is, what's it called? Let me find it here. It is Microchip. And their team up is that the Punisher, he's going to get 5% damage boost. So he's going to be getting some damage out there. And then he gets the unlocks the ability for Black Widow now to shoot multiple times before having to reload within her sniper rifle. Now, I saw a video of this. If that holds true, that's what this whole build is about. But we'll see on patch. Again, we don't have the patch, so we don't know. But I watched a streamer do it. It's insanity. It's gonna be gross. And how are we gonna make it even more gross? Well, this is why we're bringing Mantis in. We're gonna get that damage boost on Punisher and on Black Widow, and these guys are gonna be ripping face.
I like it.
So we're getting Mantis in there right away. And how do we make Mantis even more annoying? Well, we give her an Atom. We're going for the res. We're going for the res comp with these guys. We're going to make these healers unkillable, but also these healers are going to be doing a bunch of damage.
I like it. Some extra staying power in the healing department, some damage to push on their own. Mantis enables.
This is where you can kind of change this build up a little bit, and I thought about it a lot. But for me, it's got to be a triple heal build for sustain. I'm bringing in Invis Girl. We need another alt. We need a shield for the Punisher turret as well. That Invis Girl shield in front of the Punisher turrets, it's gross. It's so hard to deal with. Invis Girl's next on this list.
Okay.
So it's going to be a triple heal.
And who gets the honors of being our solo tank? Or are we going 4 deeps and we're pushing them really hard? Or 3 deeps, I'm sorry.
No. You need a tank. You always need a tank. So my solo tank choice, he's getting buffed. He's going to be insane.
Yep.
He's so good. Magneto. Magneto's going to come in there. He's going to be able to shield Black Widow or Punisher if they need it, or any of these healers. He's going to be able to push his weight around. He's going to be a monster the next season. He's going to probably be the best solo tank in the game. His damage output is going to be higher as well. He's gonna be the crutch of this team for sure. But yeah, this is my next team. It really relies heavily on Black Widow, being that team up. Hopefully that wasn't some BS and that this actually happens. But they said she gets to shoot multiple times without reloading, and a Black Widow that can shoot multiple times without reloading with a Mantis buff is just
through the team at that
broken. And it pierces. Yes, it pierces as well. It's gonna be so much damage between these two, Punisher and Black Widow. And on top of that, Adam's in there too. And Mantis is no pushover. This is a head clicking team right here. It's gonna get wild. I think this build is something that is gonna be rage inducing. It's a very high skill ceiling build though. You have to have a head clicker in each position. You have to have 4 head clickers on your team. So
obviously Luna would be the S tier maybe pick over Invis, but we were assuming Luna gets banned here, right?
I think Luna gets banned here. And also for me, to be honest, I think Luna's just another head clicker, yes, and I think that we can get more damage out of her. But I think our Invis Girl shield for Punisher, I don't know if you've ever dealt with an Invis Girl who has protected her Punisher well, but dude, when she throws it in front of some of these choke points in front of a Punisher turret, it's one of the most annoying things to deal with in the game.
Agreed.
He becomes unshootable. So I think for me, I wanted to get a build that hopefully wasn't going to be banned, and hopefully was going to surprise a lot of people. I think people are going to be pissed when they see you lock in Black Widow. But if you do it well, if you have a team of 4 people that are just confident head clickers, this build is going to be so tilting to teams. They're going to die before they even get to your Black Widow, and that's going to be insane.
No, I like it. I like it a lot. And Mag, like you said, Mag gets a better right click now, so he can contribute to the sniper theme. He has a 3-second less duration overall on his triple stack of rings, so he's going to be doing that a lot more often. So, anybody who's played Magneto or against Magneto knows that a good right click can erase a lot of squishies, and he's going to be beaming people with this comp. I really like it. Of course, as Primi mentioned, of the lineups we have so far, this is probably the most skill intensive. Black Widow needs to hit her shots. Mantis has to hit her shots. Warlock doesn't have to, but in order for
they all got it.
They
to
all
be honest,
got it. Yeah.
It's you got it. This is a build that relies heavily on we've killed you. We've got 2 picks before you've even gotten to our backline, because there's not you can walk past mag in this build. There's not a ton of CC. Mantis has, a stun. You have a push with, and this is why it's important to me too. There's a push with our Invis girl. This build needs to be able to protect these two and make sure that they're doing damage, right? With Black Widow and the Punisher. They're gonna be the spacing's a little weird because Black Widow is gonna be very, very far back in her sniping position. Punisher is not a character that stays that far forward either. So you're gonna have probably Adam more as a midfielder and Mantis as a midfielder doing the damage. They're almost going to be in DPS position, and that leaves Invisgirl kind of in the back with our two members here. So it brings forth a kind of an untraditional spacing for the game, but I think it's going to be something that's a lot of fun to play, especially if you have, obviously a Black Widow is the key here, but if you have somebody that can click heads on all these positions, people are going to die so fast. They're going to be so mad. They're going to say, why aren't you healing me, when they are getting healed?
I could
but
see
they're
this
just getting
comp,
sniped in the head.
half your team's gone 5 steps out of spawn, and you wondered how,
Yes.
Black Widow damage buff, shoot through your team. Thanks for playing. Come back later.
Yes, and then they have the Punisher turret just raining hell. And we've all been there when the Punisher turret has not been getting shot down and you feel like your team is just letting you down. Well, not only is there a Punisher turret that's not going to be able to be shot down because he's got an Invisible Girl shield in front of it, you got a Black Widow that's on that back line and hitting shots and not having to reload. She's going to double tap you and you're going to go, what the heck happened?
For sure.
I think it's going to be a really good combo.
Yeah, this is hey, we are taking range to the nth degree, and kind of like the same thing, but the opposite of the dive comp, right? We're gonna make you answer this. Can you answer this? And if you can't, you're not gonna really get far into the map at all.
And people are going to try to dive into this for sure. That's the thing. This comp wants to be dove into, and this is one that should be answered by a dive. But I don't think this season, just based on how strong these characters are and how weak they made dive, I can see a Widow or a Punisher getting dove and getting a multi-kill just by themselves on these dive characters. I think the dive is dead. We'll see. Again, we're not in the season yet. I think a Psylocke would be really good in this comp. I think a Psylocke can, there's things that you can do to beat this. That's the joy of Marvel. I don't think there's anything in Marvel that's just like you can play this and win every game. But I think this is a fun one that's really punishing. And in low elo, when people are just dying 5 steps out of base, you might get early surrenders.
This is called the white flag comp. Yeah, wave your white flag comp.
Yeah.
We got 0-3'd on the first map because we couldn't walk. I like this a lot. This definitely pushes the boundary of what's possible with skill intensive click head type characters. Mintman, anything or what you like, dislike, anything you change on this one?
I think that could be a fun team up to play. I tend to play Invis Girl, so I think
she's been showing up a lot. She's been showing up a lot in these charts, which says a lot about her flexibility. I think
she's gonna be really good. I think Luna's gonna be permaban next season, and I think we're gonna see a rise of Invis Girl.
She's the blonde chick. The blonde chick gets the highlight, not the K-pop star, right? All right.
Do you think
go
that
ahead.
Cloak and Dagger is just gonna fall to obscurity?
No, I think she's gonna be played
Cloak and Dagger's
still.
always be played.
And some maps, the pros still play her a lot on certain maps where that ult can really blanket the whole area of combat. I just feel like she's a much more map-intensive character as you climb in elo. Maybe I'm wrong, but a lot of the tournament coverage I've been watching, they use her as like a back pocket tool in certain maps, but I don't think she's as flexible as Invis.
I think for me, I think Cloak and Dagger is always going to be a nice guarantee, right? Like sometimes you're off. Sometimes you're just not aiming. Like this game's hard. Like Luna, she's fantastic. But we've all been there where we pick Luna and we're not aiming well. And our teammates die because we couldn't aim at them. That's when you whip out a Cloak and Dagger. And is she as proficient as a Luna or Invis Girl? No, but you're going to hit your shot. You're going to have 90-something% accuracy at the end of the game. And your teammates are gonna feel presence with healing, so that's always gonna be there, especially in lower elo. I think Luna, Scarlet Witch, there's a place for characters like that. It's needed for a player base, especially in hero shooters, where not everybody here is an all-star. Not everybody here is a head. Like this team that we just put together is for for some sweats. This is a sweat ass team.
Yeah.
The only person that maybe on this team can relax a little bit is Magneto, but even then, like he's front lining on
Those
on
bubbles
this
are
team.
so
tanking,
yeah, those
yeah.
bubbles
You're
are so
solo
important.
tanking. Yeah, you're gonna rely. This whole team relies on his bubbles, and yeah, it's like this is a sweat team. This is like a no break team, and I think the cool thing about Marvel Rivals is like, and maybe I'll put one together, but like just for fun. But I think you can make teams that are easier to play, and on the forefront of that is Cloak and Dagger and Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
They're just characters that you're always gonna see because they're very friendly to the skill of the game.
Yeah, and feel free to let us know in the comments. Like I said, if you think we're getting it right, wrong, if you want to come up with your own. These are for comp, and we're considering low to high elo. Our own experiences. I'm sure some of our own biases and or character preferences are in here, but I think so far we've come up with some good variation. Really exciting to see how these different team lineups come to light. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and clear this one. And now we go on to Mitman's second stab at a dream team for season 2.5.
I think I kind of like that a little bit. I would probably, just because I'm really into that Rocket Penny team up, I'd probably swap out Adam and. So let's see. God, that's just what I don't think either of them are really going to get banned. So I think that Rocket Penny team.
No, this is a great foundation to a team next season. I think that Penny is at least up one tier. She's always been a low elo monster, but now I think with that extra nest utility and extra stuff that those things are coughing up, like that's insane.
Right? It gets headshots as of last patch, which is nice.
I don't.
Yeah, I think that's good.
I don't dislike
it. I would suppose Mag then. Throw Mag there in there probably as the secondary tank. So he could play a line. Because Penny can't really play main tank. If you throw 3 nests down on the ground, she can have some sustainability, but she's not able to, and you're kind of stuck to that spot in the ground if you want to stay alive. So I like Mag to poke. Then I like that Black Widow and Punisher team up. And then probably throw in Viz there.
Nice. Okay, so a nice little blend. This is like the mid-range monster of a lineup. With some range, of course. But it seems like in the mid to far range, I could see Penny completely taking over the middle of a team fight in terms of like range, right? Like you can't really walk past her now as much. I don't know. This looks like a well-rounded take.
Even now, dude, they're still pretty stacked. Like we played a game earlier, it was really tough to get around her when she's nested in there. And if she has 2 nests.
Yeah, I mean, I think this takes my build, and I think what this build does is make it less try hard, make it more friendly. You can nest Punisher and Black Widow into like the Penny nests, and you're not worrying about them as much. I think it's gonna be good. This is gonna be a much. It's not gonna be as like high kill, obviously. The pressure with losing the pressure with Adam and Mantis and the damage boosts it makes this less of a high kill team, but I think this is just gonna be easier to play in general. I mean, if I was gonna make an easy play team, and I think the foundation actually this next season would probably start with Rocket and Penny.
Yeah, and do we think, okay, so since Penny showed up, and again, Mitman's played a lot of her, she's been at a lot of discussion in terms of ranked. Penny obviously farms at lower elo because a lot of people don't respect nor know how to play around her. Obviously, like Cloak and Dagger and other characters.
When they don't shoot her mines.
Yeah.
They don't.
Yeah. With she scales. She doesn't scale as high just because people learn what to do around her. But does the added utility and range of her nests and abilities of her nests and team up, does this bump her up to the next level?
I think this team up in general is just the foundation of low elo now. I think we're gonna see a lot of Rocket Penny, especially now that the Rocket's like his res is a nest, so it's gonna become something that's harder to kill, and it's most of the time his res is killed by people that are pushing. Well,
usually depending on where you hide it, I would get a lot of Moon Knights killing it, a lot of Black Panther killing it, any dive character that's kind of hanging around.
So I think that's not going to happen as much anymore. So then you get another res the guaranteed almost with the group. It's gonna be nice, and I
I don't
think
know if it will. It depends on where you're putting it, because people don't defend the penny nest. So if people focus the penny
well,
nest, it goes down pretty fast.
I don't think your nest would be in a place that would be like I know that we had some people in talking about just putting them on the battlefield. I don't think that's ever gonna happen with a rocket res, but I think it's gonna hold corners, right? It's gonna hold things that are like rooms, things of that nature.
Sure.
I think it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
I think that's the foundation. Like if I was to put together like a noob friendly team, I think I would honestly probably say that those two are the foundations, and then I would put Cloak and Dagger and Scarlet Witch in there, and then
Be a very
I would
mid-rangey,
probably-
lock it down type comp.
yeah, and then I would probably if I had to put a noob team together right now, I would say it's those two, Scarlet Witch, Cloak and Dagger, and then I would probably just help the Scarlet Witch with the team up with like Strange, and maybe suggest like something like a Goon Knight, a Moon Knight, or or likewise something with Squirrel Girl for the other
He is
DPS.
fun to play though.
Yeah.
Moon Knight.
Something to note
Yeah,
too.
I've been enjoying playing. He's just kind of fun. You don't have to
Yeah.
hit all your shots. You can,
Exactly.
and if you
Yeah,
do
that's why
hit all your shots now with that ricochet, if there's a
Oh, it's
crowd
so
going on,
strong. Yeah,
it's so strong.
I think that would be actually like that, for me. If I had to say to 6 new players, if they want to win, I think my team for them would be Strange, Scarlet Witch, Penny, Moon Knight, Rocket, and Cloak and Dagger. But
Yeah.
I think this is something that also is a team that's pretty good.
So we'll
new
go ahead,
players.
keep that in mind, Preemie. I do want to make that as like a Mintman, a take on his team, just like we did with a take on my team, because I think that's part of the fun of this is that as a group we can kind of do spin-offs. So we'll do Mintman Team 2.5 or 2B.
Yeah.
But
I think this is good too, though, because the fun thing about what he's created here is it's a really good, solid team for something like what we have with our
Right.
friends group, where there's high skill cap players like that might get a little bit bored if they're playing something that's too easy. So there's a fun, like, there's a really hard healer here with Invisible Girl. There's a head clicker with Black Widow. Punisher needs to be really good at tracing. So I think like there's still characters here that like a higher skill cap can play. So this is a really good mid max group he's created, and I think that it's fun because it's right after my team, and it solves the sweat of my team while still letting sweat happen.
Yeah. Something to note too is this is a nice way to adjust a team on defense. If you're playing an objective-based map where you're offense-defense type roles, Penny has always been traditionally looked at as a better defensive type tank because you have to push into her. So this could be a good modification to a team that slots her in, I guess. Or is that too one-dimensional? Or
No, I think this is like that's a really good way to put it. Is like if you're trying to play my last build and you guys are getting shit on, but maybe your Black Widow and your Punisher are doing really well, and you're thinking, well, what's happening? We're just kind of getting marched on, and we're not being able to defend like we want to. That'd be a great switch to like pull out the Mantis, pull out the Atom, and put in a Rocket and Penny. Those
Yeah.
are things that you can definitely make decisions with as a team and think to yourself, hey, what's going on? We're just getting walked on. Okay, well, how do we solve it? That's a great solve to getting walked on.
yeah, and Rocket, I like how Midman in both of his builds says, okay, I obviously again he knows how to play them. So, but at the same time, Preemie mentioned that Rocket and Penny are a great place to start if you're looking to play with a friend. Penny was already great at holding objectives and holding chokes, and now I think it's going to be just exacerbated, right? It's going to be amplified, no pun intended. So I like it a lot. My only thing here is like I like this composition a lot, Mintman, for the Black Widow people that either like or don't like her, or maybe you're not feeling as confident about your ability to click heads with a scoped ranged character. I'm trying to wonder what someone could play if they're like, we really like this for our friend group, but no one's really good at Widow. What would we put
I
in
think
that
the
spot?
Strange and Scarlet Witch combo is probably still pretty powerful.
Oh,
Strange gets a buff.
So you could just do
For
this.
Scarlet Witch is
You could just do this and
I think
bang,
she's
bang.
just as good as an entry level DPS because she's got auto lock, so she is the Cloak and Dagger of the DPS class.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this is another adaptation, not necessarily a 1A, 1B, but if you're looking to kind of bring in the range a little bit more and hold down in the nest theme and really lock it down, Scarlet Witch, it's hard to argue with her buff from Strange. Her ability to melt people at medium to close range is insane. Yeah, this is a great, actually. Looking at this is probably like a low elo farm comp if I've seen one, no? Based on what we know.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think it's a really solid. It takes what I made as a tryhard build and brings it to something that low elo can enjoy, and not only enjoy but win on.
Yeah, and not to say you can't do better with this as you scale, but just keep in mind characters like Scarlet Witch, as much as she can pump damage, her play patterns can be a bit more telegraphed. So keep in mind that you don't want to lean on her as hard. Your punt, for example, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, this is me theory crafting, but so let's say we have a group of friends and we start to really gel with this comp, and we're climbing, we hit diamond or something, and all of a sudden maybe we're not getting the same stat lines out of, let's say, Witch, but maybe that just means Punisher has to do more heavy lifting, right? Maybe Punisher has to start getting those key picks. So it's not that the comp has to change, it's who takes on a different role, maybe. I don't know. But this looks great, both versions, or there's probably a different few ways you could go about this. Anything else about this one, guys, before we move on to the last one of the video, and then we'll...
I think a good build.
Yes.
Bring us home, Sean.
Agreed. All right, so this is more for the hype, maybe for the trolls, maybe for the rage, hype, whatever, just maybe for the reaction, but also I'm very excited, and this is one of the first things I thought of. I am still a newer player to this type of game, but I think there's a lot of controversy about Ultron, so I want to end on that note. Ultron's first pass from streamers who got access and pros alike is that he's weak, he's underwhelming. Some of the criticisms of Ultron, I'm going to start with him, obviously, if we're not already kind of keyed in on that. So Ultron, kind of some TLDR, if you haven't really seen a lot about him, is he's a ranged flyer healer. He's an off healer, so the consensus is that maybe he needs to be put into a 3 healer comp. He has a ton of range with very little fall off. He does have damage fall off with his left click. His ultimate is very good at healing, not as good at damaging, but he does farm it very quickly. His ult charge is only like 3,500 or something like that, which is substantially lower than Luna's now after a buff or a nerf. So what I'm getting at is I think Ultron may not be S tier, at least without some buffs, but I think in the right composition, maybe you can unlock him. So let's try to see. And this is not as much unlocking him as pushing the boundary to where maybe he doesn't get farmed as much, and maybe he has a chance to do some things. So I'm going to call this one Air Force One, not the Middle Eastern Air Force One that has been in the news lately. Maybe that's some controversy-inducing stuff. We'll get away from that. Good old regular Air Force One. So we'll go Ultron.
Qatar one.
Not the Qatar one. Not the Qatar. We're talking the good old 747 that we're used to. I think the other one's a 747 too. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and stop talking about politics. We didn't come here for that. But we're gonna call this Air Force One or Air Force Two if we're gonna get away from that. Whatever. We're gonna go
That's
Ultron. Oh, maybe I should have thought about that. It sounded better in my head, guys. So anyway, we're gonna go flyers here. The theme is flyers. Not Johnny Boy though. He does get the bench. Johnny of all the nerfs, got nerfed really hard. He's not nearly as effective. His fire ring, it doesn't hit as hard. He has a longer cooldown now. I'm not a Johnny expert, but I don't think he's an auto ban, and I do think he's the weakest flyer now. Maybe aside from Ultron, if Ultron ends up being good. Anyway, enough blabbing. Let's go ahead and get this lineup made so I can talk about why I made it. Who's my third flyer? Of course, Iron Man. I agree with what Primi said earlier. I don't think you can play Ultron competitively without Iron Man. That's because the team up is that Iron Man as the anchor gets a buff in his damage base. And then Ultron gets a ability that lets him shoot and heal through enemies and allies. And it's actually a pretty good rate. So we're going to call this Air Force. Here's our 2 DPS and a healer who's kind of a DPS. We're going to go Mantis because she can put damage buffs on these flyers and also stack healing orbs. She's also very mobile, so she can run on the ground and hopefully keep up with them somewhat. And I'm a sucker for Mantis in a 3 healer comp. The third healer, I'm just going to have to go with Invis again. Here's my reasoning. I think Luna's going to get banned a lot. Invis is known for her ability to put shields on flyers. and she has a very good ultimate. So there's our 3 healers: Ultron, Mantis, Invis, 3 flyers, and then we have to go with our solo tank. And I'm biased, but I do think he's still a great defensible choice, and his ability to bubble on chokes. If we have a flyer who's getting melted, here is my Air Force 1 build. Any advice, criticism, comments welcome on this one. I just felt like I had to make something out of Ultron. I wanted to push the envelope with him. I think if he's going to be good, it has to look something like this to start with.
I think it works, man. I think at the end of the day with this build, it solves the issues that I had with Ultron in the last build, because now there's aerial healers, right? There's things that can help heal, and then he can help assist the ground. You have some of the best aerial healers right here in Invis Girl and Mantis. You got damage boosting, so that's going to maybe make Ultron actually a good DPS as well, maybe. I mean, maybe we're not focusing on in there. We're probably more focusing on the Iron Mans and stuff of that nature, but Ultron might do a lot of damage. We haven't gotten our hands on Ultron yet. We don't really know. It'll be interesting to see when he's on the field how much he's actually putting out, but people are saying he's a DPS. So if he's a DPS,
Yeah, but is
he's pumping.
DPS like Adam?
Yeah, it is. Exactly.
I would assume they're very similar.
Yes, that's exactly. I think what they're going for.
Yeah, hit
And
scanny,
if that's the case,
longer lag time. That Adam's more of a burst
if that's
laser.
The case, he might be owning in this comp. This is something definitely want to try. I think day one and see how much damage you can get out there with the Ultron.
Yeah, and I know that Storm has been a lot of talk with the Sharknado, and that's going to kill a lot of people, make a lot of memes. But the reality is we don't know how good Jeff is. Jeff is on his own, rather than being tossed up in a cyclone with Storm. What Storm is definitely does not get the limelight as much here, but Storm did get a buff. Storm got her ult buffed. So if you damage stack with Mantis and then ultimate with Storm, even without Jeff, and Iron Man's poking you, if you don't have good DPS that counter aerial guys, this is the hope, is that you're overloading their ability to deal with it, right? So is this good enough to overload hit scan DPS? Probably not super high elo. A good Hela team with a good Punisher probably going to erase this comp.
Well, I think you ban Hela into this comp. Like there's no way that you let her through.
You set it up. Yeah.
I think this is if you're playing this comp, you're banning Luna Hela, right? So like you're gonna come into this comp with the expectation that you don't want anything that will hit scan you in there, and I think as long as you do that, this comp could be something nasty.
Yeah, and again, it's the flyer theme. A lot of people will say, why not Torch? Torch got banned so much. He's so good. He's easily one of the best flyers in this list, especially because we don't even know anything about Ultron. 2 responses, at least on my end, to that. Ultron's a healer. He's not a DPS. So he fits in this theme because he flies and also heals. So he can pocket one of the flyers more easily. And we think that he might be good enough with Iron Man. Also, Johnny Boy, of all these flyers, is probably now of the flying DPS is probably the weakest. We can presume. Over Iron.
I think like anything, you can swap things out comp wise. You can make it.
Probably put Strange Magneto.
Maybe you bring the Shark in there. Maybe Shark is fun. Maybe the Sharknado is something that just owns. Who knows? Maybe I think at the end of the day, maybe you swap the Iron Man for Johnny and you make a flaming Sharknado.
Yeah, you could do this. Like here, I'll do this right now. If you really want to push the envelope, this increases team up potential better. You get the Jeff Nado with Storm. You also get that third healer because Jeff and Ultron by themselves are not a good second healer. Invis Woman's doing a lot of the heavy lifting here in terms of AoE and group heals. But if you think that Shark is good enough in the new meta by himself, I don't think he's better than Mantis in the right hands. Not now. He has to resurface now after a timer.
Well, maybe even pull Ultron out and then you put the Flamer in there. And
so you mean like this, go back to this, pull this up.
I mean, there's just so many things you can do in this.
You could.
But like it could be, I mean, I like this one that you have, but yeah, there's so many things you can do. Yeah.
Yeah. Then, if you're going for the full meta appeal, sorry, where did I do with this? Oh, if you're going for full new meta, new team ups, you get the Jeff team up with Storm. You get the Ultron team up with Iron Man. You get Magneto bubbling flyers as needed or helping out his Invis.
Yeah, totally interesting.
Is Shark good enough is the question for this one. I took Mantis because she's
Yeah.
a known quantity, and I know in the right hands.
I don't think Shark's good enough. I think that's
Okay.
the thing. I think, and then me as a Storm player, I played the most this last season. I
Yeah.
think on my main account.
Do you think she's good enough with
Yeah.
her own ult buff with an assistance from a
Well,
Mantis?
Storm's always been good enough on her own. Let me
Okay.
even go and see, make sure that I'm not just.
She got her
spitting
ultimate buffed. I don't know by
nonsense.
what percentage, but
Yeah, my most DPS played character of last season is Storm. And I think, I mean, I played her, to be honest, most games without team ups, most games I played by myself. And she's an amazing pick regardless. Just like Iron Man, I think. Iron Man is also good without Gamma, and I think he's going to be still good without needing Ultron. But I don't think we're going to see them as much in high elo. I think this is a low elo pick, but I think this is a fun one. And yeah, I wouldn't. I mean,
this
I
is more
wouldn't-
like meta
I-
excitement, right? Let's see what can be possible.
And the Sharknado's fun. It's
Right.
totally a fun thing. I think the one thing that Storm's alt always has done well is kill everything in low elo.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that Storm's alt doesn't do well is kill anything in high elo. They burn Storms. If you watch the pro play, or not the pro play, the streamer preview, you even saw the Sharknado get destroyed by Shroud's Punisher single-handedly. He saved his ult for that ult every time, and he just literally killed Storm by himself. That's what people do to you in higher elo. But in the low elo, that just thinks they need to run from Storm and doesn't understand how to burn things. This is going to be a really fun, I think, new meta, fun gameplay for newer players trying things out. I think, and also, if you're just losing, you can just pull out the Sharknado and have a good time. So I
Have a
think this is-
good time.
This is going to be one of those day one, let's try it in quick plays, and hey, maybe you vibe with it in ranked. You know,
Yeah,
I would leave the Shark just for the vibes, but this is
Yeah.
if you're trying to win, I think Mantis, sure, maybe.
yeah, and maybe the Sharknado is better than Mantis giving everyone else a damage boost. Maybe.
Also, the Shark might be able to keep Mag up easier as well.
That's true. Yeah, okay. So you know what, you sold me. Just to push the envelope on new meta hype, new season hype, I officially revised my pick from Mantis to Shark as a let's give this a whirl. No pun intended. Mintman, anything you like, dislike, anything you'd add, take away?
I don't know, man. I'm excited. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
My thing I'm most excited for sure is that Penny Rocket team up.
Yes.
And I hope it doesn't disappoint, because sometimes I feel like, they hype these things and then you start playing it and you're like, well, I'm never going to use that.
For sure.
This
and
is
I think
Beam NATO.
I
I like
Beam NATO.
Beam NATO.
Beam NATO.
Beam NATO.
Beam NATO.
Yeah. Beam NATO.
Well, also the Venom and Shark team up and Jeff Landshark team up might be kind of fun. Who knows?
That's
Maybe-
something we
I don't
did
know.
not
I think he
explore,
might
yeah.
actually be. So if you added Jeff as a third healer into a rocket combo, and because his movement got nuked, but his water jet's gonna heal and damage, and it'll be able to go through teammates and attack people, he'd probably be really good for a choke healer then, if
Yep.
he's just basically spraying down a hallway.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah.
could be a lot of fun.
He still has
I
some
don't-
escape. The thing what they did with Jeff is they made him killable.
Right.
He's not DPS Jeff anymore. Luna's gone. His team up with Luna's gone. They don't want DPS Jeff in the game, and rightfully so. Non-killable DPS Jeff was the worst thing ever to play against.
Yep.
And it
Yeah.
took a very high skill cap to do, and I understand that. But the issue is that when you had a good player around Jeff, you couldn't kill him with most DPS single-handedly in the game, and that's a problem. Like DPS kills healers. That's the point of a DPS. Like that's your job. And when you meet a Shark and you just go, well, I guess I got to leave him alone and go find the other healer. It became an aspect of the game that was not fun. So I hope that this brings Jeff into a place that is fun, and I hope it also makes him maybe a little bit easier of a choke healer, because our best choke healer right now is Invisgirl, and Invisgirl's not easy. She's
Nope.
not an easy choke healer.
Nope.
She's not an easy healer to play in general. You
Nope.
got to be very talented on Invisgirl, and if you make one mistake on her, you're dead. And I think hopefully what Jeff will become is the easier to play choke healer. This comp right here with those two, hopefully they could keep Mag alive all day, especially with an Ultron ability down there. I think that Mag just becomes unkillable, and this might be fun. A very fun comp to play.
Yeah,
So
I think the one thing about Ultron, from what I've seen and gathered, is yes, he seems underwhelming based on some of the pro feedback in the streamer early access. But I think something that my takeaway from a pro side of things with Ultron is that ult is going to come often in the right hands. And that ult, even though it may not damage as much, it heals like a MRFer. So in a big team fight,
it damages a lot too. I think this is like is anti-clump. Like if you're going into a team, even in higher elo, that's clumping a lot. This comp counters a clump, and it counters a clump really well because you have two really strong healers that can really keep the mag up, keep everything going, and then you have Ultron that if you watch the, and haven't had our hands on it yet, and things can change on season 1 patch because there's already been a patch, but like our season 2.5 patch day 1, you never know what we're gonna see. We might not get the Black Widow that just has infinite amounts of shots before she has to reload. We might not get these things that we saw the streamers show, and that's one thing that when we're looking at all this today, that we need to take in consideration. Nobody's had their hands on anything yet, but just based off of will this be fun moving into the next season? I think this is a build that you created that's gonna be fun, and that I think maybe Jeff might be the healer that they intended him to be. Now he might just be an easier healer, right?
Well,
easier
the beam shoots through people, so that we found in Viz Woman, people love that about her, that she could just spam heals and damage through a clump. So yeah, you're right. The more I think about this is a anti-clump. If you're gonna bunch as a team, we're gonna really dump everything we have on you, and you're gonna get fucking fried probably. Oops, sorry for the cuss. Yeah. Make sure this is not intended for some of our younger audience if that comes to it. But okay, so real quick, we'll go ahead and cut this one off because keep it short enough for all of you to take in, digest, and leave comments, of course. Some takeaways. So last thing, takeaways from what we've seen from these 6 builds, patterns, commonalities, anything that we've thought of since we've discussed this, or anything that we felt is crucial about comps in general from this upcoming season that we think we left out. And final thoughts.
Poke. The season of poke is upon us.
Agreed.
That's what I think.
Agreed.
I think that we're in the season of poke. We're leaving the season of dive. We're leaving it far behind us. And for me as a hit scan player, I'm really looking forward to the season of poke, and I'm hoping that I can finally leave my current elo hell and climb to an elo that I'm proud of. So we'll see. We'll see though.
For those of you who don't know, Preemy in our play group, Preemy has made GM back-to-back seasons. I think GM's amazing. Still a substantially small percentage of the player base. I still have yet to hit even diamond, and again, I'm newer. I'm still trying to get better, but I think GM's awesome. So don't short sell yourself. Maybe this is the celestial season though. Maybe this is it.
I'm thinking him just might be. We'll see.
Let's
Hopefully,
get it in the comments for Preemy. Cheer him on.
Season of poke. Let's do it.
Right on. Mintman, final thoughts.
I'm excited. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm gonna definitely try out Ultron. I have a feeling it's just like anything. Anytime the patch comes out, a new tune comes out, it's gonna be really hard to play. Remember when Emma came out, and you'd be in quick play trying to play Emma, and you would see 4 or 5 Emmas pop up, and people would just drop like flies. They just quit
Emma's still
as soon
hard
as
to play,
they didn't
by
get.
the way. Emma is insta-locked or banned instantly in every high elo match. She's
a blast, dude. Last time me and Sean played, I had to switch to her because they had a really good Emma on their team, and we could not get any space. But she fries people.
I think Ultron is gonna be underwhelming, to be honest, if I'm being completely frank.
Yeah.
And I think you're gonna be able to play him really quickly. Obviously, the first game you log on the day, there's gonna be 6 people in quick play, all picked Ultron. But I think Ultron might even be the first character that we see people switch off halfway through.
Yeah, probably. I won't play him unless somebody will
him.
play Iron Man. I won't play him because I agree with you, Preemy. I think Iron Man makes him comp playable. I don't know how good.
It'll give him an extra heal, right?
Heal and damage, yeah.
It gives him a huge heal damage, yeah. It's a beam that.
Well,
does
otherwise
really
his beam doesn't heal, does it?
No. Yeah, so you're right. Effectively, it just doubles up, and yeah.
Gives him an extra.
Gives him a little extra oomph. And I think, like I said, if I could be wrong about this, I think his ult might be the saving grace, not because of its overall output, but because of its frequency. I think he has one of the quickest
It does
farmed
seem like he gets
ults.
it very quickly.
Yeah.
And I think that's where he almost just has to farm his ult and keep
Yeah.
it there for when he needs to heal something big, but maybe, or get a pick. I think it's vice versa. I think we're going to see some people really figure him out. The one cool thing about Marvel Rivals is that every character is good. No matter what anybody says, there's a god out there that's in the top 500 on one of these characters.
Yep.
So even Jeff, I mean, like, we're saying Jeff's beaten to the ground. There might be a top 500 Jeff. Like, first thing we see is the top 500 Jeff just owning and proving everybody wrong that he's, not a pile of junk anymore. Everybody says Iron Fist is nerfed into the ground, but I'm sure there's several Iron Fist mains that are going to carry him up there. Yeah, maybe they're not just playing him anymore. But Black Panther has been the tickle monster since launch.
Yep.
And there's still top 500s every season that play Black Panther. So
It's true. Play what you love
the cool thing
first.
Yeah. Find something. The cool thing about this video is that we're giving you ideas of how to kind of team up with friends and play together. But the cool thing about this game is that when you find something you like, just play it, because it's gonna work. It's gonna work.
Agreed. Yeah, I'm echoing everything you guys just said, kind of to close out. Yeah, try some different things. Let us know how wrong or right you think we are, or if you think we completely missed the boat and you have comps that are no-brainers, put them in the comments. We'll get this posted if you're watching the live stream. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see how things shake out here in about a day or so. We're getting close to the 1 day mark from the time of this video recording. The patch will go live on the 30th, so let's see what's going on. Thanks for joining us for this little Theorycraft comp lineup video. Preemie, Mintman, it's been a pleasure. Thank you guys for your time. I know you're getting some games in. I hope to get some games with you guys soon. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe. See you guys.
GG.
So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to, because I realize if this is all about timing and trying to get clicks before this video is not really relevant anymore, I should probably push this out like now, huh? I should just stop the stream. I can fire up the